All right, guys, it's 11:30 in the morning. We are going to go check on the rental property and see what it looks like here. All right, guys, so we just arrived at the property here. You can see there the lockbox is on the door. So all we're going to do, we're just going to walk through. I will give you guys a quick tour of the place. We're just going to make sure that everything's okay. There's no damage that's too extreme. And we're going to clean it up as I've got to get some new tenants in the place. All right, guys. Moment of truth. Let's see what the damage is. All right, so far we're looking okay. Close this door behind me. So I just have some stuff here in this bucket, cleaning supplies and things like that. Okay, so this frosted stuff on the windows, that wasn't here when I bought the property, but I guess somebody must have put that on. You've got a fuse panel right here, outside light. And this here is just a little closet. You can put your shoes and hang your jackets or whatever. They also put this frosted covering on the front door. I mean, I don't mind it. I guess they wanted some extra privacy, so that's totally fine. These carpets or mats were not here originally, so they left those, which I guess is nice. Turn the lights on here. So this is the hallway when you first walk in. Nothing crazy in this room. It's just your basic furnace room. You've got your water tank and water softener. That's about it. Well, it looks to be in good shape. Probably nobody went in there. The hallway off to your left, this is the first bathroom. So it's just a two-piece. It actually looks like it's in great shape. This mirror is also clean. Like, honestly, I don't think anyone even used this bathroom once. The last time I was in here, which is probably 2 years ago, I mean, the bathroom looked like this. Like, this is clean, man. So I don't even think anyone used this. But the water works, so that's the bathroom, the first one anyways. Heading down here, these are the stairs to go up. This is just a crawl space area, so just under the stairs. We did have some paint and things in here, but oh yeah, there's some carpet and stuff. Otherwise, just more storage. And over here, you've got a sort of like a little den. This could be another room as well. It's actually quite big. It probably doesn't look like it on camera. But you've got a window here, quite big actually. There's 3-piece window. And if you look, you can see that the room is actually quite big. So you could have someone stay in here, make it an office, whatever you want. This area here, you could put like a curtain, or you could affix a door here if you wanted to make it an actual room. But it's a nice little area. It looks like someone did use it for something because there are some marks on the wall. So I'll show you here. Yeah, you can see those marks. There are some marks on the wall. Nothing really worth painting. This hallway looks pretty good, so I don't think we have to do any painting for that. Let's go upstairs and I'll show you the rest of the unit here. So there is carpet. There are a couple flights here, but they are short flights. One of the previous tenants, I think it was this platform, they actually had a cat, and I think the cat decided that this platform was going to be their bathroom. So, you know, I had to extensively clean this platform to death. It smelled, it was stained, but you know what? I got it all out. It looks pretty good. You can't even tell. So yeah, it looks great. There are some marks here, probably when people were bringing, you know, furniture, a couch or something like that. Nothing too bad. Otherwise, the rest of it looks okay. There's a ding or something here on the railing. No stains on the carpet, which is nice. A couple more marks here. There's a bit of a gash there. But you know what? It can actually be a benefit to tenants that there's already some gashes or some marks on the walls, because if it's pristine and you're a tenant moving in, then you know that the landlord knows it's pristine, which means any marks that you make, they're going to know came from you. Now, if you're going to move into a place and there's already a mark like this or some other marks in other places, the landlord's not going to know if it was you or the previous tenant. So it's kind of a win for the renter, that they can kind of, you know, be a little less careful going in and they don't have to worry too much about that. So I'm going to leave these marks. I'm not going to fix them because chances are I'm going to get more marks anyways. So let's keep going up the stairs here. These are one of these stacked townhouses. So you do have a few platforms, but like I said, like this platform is only really 3 steps. So it's not really that many steps to go up. And I'll take a shot down so you can see. So you can see the different platforms there and how it goes down to the bottom. Got a light right there. And this is sort of the main living room. So it's nice. I mean, it looks like it's been well kept. Aside from, you know, some dirt on the walls, which you can't really tell, it looks well kept. The floor looks pretty nice still. There's no, you know, scratches or gashes in the floor, so I'm very happy with that. It honestly doesn't look like I'm going to have to do too much work here. Not much of a view. You kind of get a view of someone else's backyard. It is snowing. I don't know if you can see that snow, but that's sort of the view here in the living room. And it connects to this open style kitchen. You've got a little island here. Stainless steel. So you got stainless steel dishwasher, oven, microwave, fridge. Now the fridge was brand new. Actually, all the appliances were brand new. But it looks like someone was throwing something at the fridge. You can see these sort of dents. There's a big one. These dents in the fridge there. So I'm not too happy about that, but obviously it's not worth replacing. The fridge works fine. The oven looks all right. A little bit of wear, but that's expected. Yeah, light works. Everything's good. Microwave looks pristine, actually. Oh yeah, it doesn't even look like anyone really used it or else they cleaned it. There's a little bit of stuff there, but otherwise the microwave looks good. Coming over to the sink. Yeah. Let's check out the dishwasher. Yeah, it seems to be okay. It looks like I'll probably have to check the water softener because there is some lime scale calcium buildup there. They probably just did not refill the water softener, which seems to be a problem with tenants. I don't know why. Because, you know, salt costs like $5 a bag. But in my experience, 90% of renters do not put salt in water softeners. So there's that. This door here is just like a little balcony. So you can go out and there's a light switch as well for the balcony and the light's up there. Just a little balcony here you can kind of sit. So as you can see, there's just rows of these townhouses and you've got detached houses across the way. One thing over here that I noticed is these handprints. So the previous tenant had a kid. I guess he or she decided that they were going to paint on the wall. So I will have to fix that. I'll definitely have to fix that. It also looks like they put some sort of adhesive here, maybe like an outdoor screen so that they could keep the door open. So I'll have to Yeah, I'll have to peel all that off. Yeah, definitely a screen of some type they had on there. So we'll go back in because it's freezing outside. Not really happy about those, you know, handprints. That's a little bit rough, but I think I can probably get that off. I also don't know, there's some like plastic, I don't know. Someone to fix like a plastic sheet here. I'm kind of scared to rip that off. I don't know if it's going to pull the paint off, so I think I'm just going to leave that. I guess maybe that's for splashing water. I have no idea. I've never seen anything like this. If any of you know, write in the comments what the hell that plastic is for, because I've never seen that. All the cupboards look good. They've been well kept. Nothing is broken. Everything looks fine in the cupboards. Beautiful. Okay. Yep. Freezer's working. So we'll continue on down here. Let's turn some lights on. Oh, I don't even know where the lights are anymore. There we go. All right, so you got your basic, you know, your thermostat. Right now it's at 18.5 degrees. You know, keep it cooler because there's no one here, right? So I've got to save money. There's a ventilation thing as well, so you can just, you know, either dry out the place if it's too humid, or if you just want some circulation, that's separate from the furnace fan. You've got a whole nother ventilation going on. So in here you've got the full bathroom. Yeah, the fan works as well. We'll turn the fan off. But it looks pretty good in here. I mean, same thing, the mirror, like this mirror is clean. You know what I mean? So definitely it's been cleaned well. Everything else looks good. Let's check the water. Yep, they got water. Bathtub. These racks were not here. They left those racks up there. So, I mean, I guess the next tenant can enjoy them. Yeah, water pressure is all good. Everything's fine. The wall is a little dirty. You can probably see that on camera. So I got to wipe that wall down, but otherwise it looks good. And here you've got just your sort of double stack washer dryer. They look to be in good shape. They look all right. A little dusty, but I'll wipe it down. And in here you kind of just have like a little closet. I guess this is where, you know, you could throw your towels or whatever you want. And over here we have our first bedroom, which is not the master, although they are almost the same size. So, you know, you've got just a window here. You can see the blue Subaru down there. So that's the parking spot. But you've also got, if I'll zoom in, you can see there's kind of like a playground there as well. There's a swing set and some slides. So if there are kids here, they've got a place to check out and play on. And they've got a closet that it looks like they tried to fix. I don't know. I don't know how you'd get holes in a closet door, but it looks like they put some putty on there and just didn't bother to sand it down or paint it, but I can do that. That's pretty easy, but just a closet, nothing special. And we'll go into the master, which is basically a carbon copy, but bigger. So this is the same type of deal. That was pretty loud. Is there a doorstop? Oh, yeah, there's no, missing the rubber piece on the doorstop there. Yeah, same sort of setup. So you've just got the window here where you can look out. And someone put a mirror. I don't even know how I didn't see that. Someone put a mirror on here, which is really dirty. I don't want to touch that, but I guess they wanted a mirror on the door. So you can watch yourself sleep at night. I don't know. You're not supposed to do that. If you watch horror movies, you're not supposed to have a mirror facing your bed. But yeah, just another closet. This closet is a little bigger than the other one. The floor space is, I think, maybe 1 or 2 square feet more than the other room. Also, because it's a stacked townhouse, there are no vents in the floor. So you'll see there are no floor vents anywhere in this property. The reason being is they have these guys up here. So this is sort of like your central air, and they're all in the ceiling and not in the floor. Someone put these hooks on, that's pretty nice. I did not do that, but sure, I'll take them. So that's about it for the tour of the place. I don't think that there's really anything that I have to do other than maybe dust some things off and wipe some things down. And then I do need to take care of the hand painting marks on the balcony. But otherwise, things seem to be in pretty decent shape. I don't think I need to do much else. I did buy this property for $399, so basically $400K. And I purchased it. The deposit was actually put down in December of 2019. Sorry, let me move my hand over here. Put down in December of 2019. But then it took the builders about a year and a few months to build the property. So the property actually wasn't finished until I think April of 2021. So I paid $399, but I did see at the height of COVID that actually these properties went up. I saw 2 sell for $705,000 and I saw 1 sell for $720,000. Now the market has come down about 20% or so. That means that the current going rate is about $550,000, which gives me about $150,000 gain on my $400,000 purchase price. Now, I did put 20% down, so $80,000 down, meaning that I do not have to pay the CMHC fees. So that was very nice. I didn't have to worry about those extra costs going into it. Right now, the mortgage is about $270 or so. So that's of course coming down from $320, which is what my original mortgage was. So in terms of pay down, I've got the $80,000 initially as the down payment, and then I've paid off about $50,000 down on the mortgage from having tenants live here. So I've got about $130K in equity for that. And then, of course, because the property has gone up and is now worth about $550, there's another $150,000 in equity there. So we're looking at about $280,000 in equity on a $550,000 property. So what does this cost me per month? Well, it costs me about $2,000. That $2,000 includes everything. So we're talking condo fees, the mortgage payment, home insurance, every single thing is about $2,000 a month. And I am currently trying to rent it for $2,200 a month, which is the cheapest one on the market. So there are a few others on the market right now, and they're going for about $2,300 or $2,400. But I purposely wanted to be the cheapest one because I need to get a tenant in here, and I'm totally fine, losing $100 or $200 a month if that means I can get someone right away. Now, I actually did have some people apply, which is the whole reason that I'm here. Right now it's February 22nd on a Sunday, but yesterday there were some people who came to look at the place. So I just wanted to make sure that it's still, clean, everything's fine. I haven't been here in probably 2 years, so it's good to check up on it, right? You don't want the place to be dirty, you want it to be livable, you gotta sell the place, right? So that's why I'm here, just checking up, making sure everything is still good. I did already have some people do a full application that wanted to rent it before I had even come back and checked on the place, but I decided to deny them. Now, There was actually a couple applicants. The first applicant I denied just based on credit score and the amount of income coming in. Credit score is very important to me because it shows character and it takes time to build credit. So I do not accept anyone that has less than a 720 credit score. I don't care how much money they make. I don't care about anything. Unless they're going to pay upfront for the entire year or the entire term of the lease, then I don't care. If you want to pay upfront, I don't care if you have zero credit. But if you're not going to pay upfront, it has to be a 720 credit score or higher for me personally. The other people that applied, they wanted a deal, okay? Now, I already told you that my property is listed at $2,200. It's the cheapest one on the market in this area. I did that on purpose. I did that for a reason, right? So I had someone who wanted to negotiate and they wanted $50 less per month. And I said no. Some people might have taken that deal, but I know already that my property is priced the best, okay? And because I know that, I'm not willing to negotiate. The other reason I don't think that you should negotiate as a landlord is because it makes you seem not weak necessarily, but it makes you seem agreeable. And that's not what you want to be as a landlord, right? You want to make sure that the tenants are going to come here, they're going to take care of the space, they're going to pay their rent on time. That is what you want. If you start off a relationship negotiating down and you agree to what they ask of you, you may end up having to agree to things in the future. And if they ask something of you that you don't want to do and you say no to that, but in the beginning you said yes, some people might get a little annoyed with that, right? They may think that you should agree because, hey, you agreed the first time. So I do not start any deals on a negotiation. If someone asks for a deal, I have no problem with someone saying, hey, you know what? I like your property. Let me give you $2,150 instead of $2,200. That's fine. I have no issue with that. But what I do have an issue with is agreeing to that. Okay, so I would never agree to something like that. And if they're willing to walk on the property, then let them walk. Okay. The other issue is if you agree to something like a discount, it can question that tenant's ability to pay. Why are they asking for a discount? Are they asking for the discount because they're just being, frugal or savvy, intelligent? They want to see what kind of deal they can get? Well, maybe that's true. But maybe that's not true. Maybe they're asking for a deal because they really can't afford the place. Maybe they have obligations that you may not be able to see on a credit report. Maybe they have to give money to family members, or maybe they've hidden something, right? I'm not saying that every tenant is bad, and they're not, but you just never know. So you have to protect yourself. And, that's why I declined those applications that I already got. But in this game of renting a property, it's the patience, right? It's the patience you have to have, because you know what? One bad tenant can wipe out, 5 good tenants. If you get one bad tenant, it could cost you a ton of money. So you have to make sure when you accept an application and you let someone into your property that you feel comfortable that that person's going to take care of your space, that they're going to pay you on time, and you want the relationship to be good. And you know what? That also kind of goes hand in hand with having a property that is the lowest price on the market, right? You can say to a prospective client, like, hey, this is the lowest price, and you can sugarcoat it however you want. You can say, I just want someone to live in the property and take care of it, and I'm fine offering a lower price to someone who I know is going to take care of my property. You're not necessarily even saying anything wrong. That is the truth, right? But you can kind of spin it and sugarcoat that. And I do that, right? So patience is the name of the game here. The other thing is that if you have a rental property, in my experience, the best renters are couples, okay? So single people generally have issues with affordability, And not only that, but if a single person gets fired, there's no more income. If you have a couple and one person gets fired, they generally will find a way to make it work. The other thing is that if you get a couple and they don't have kids, then usually that's a solid foundation. You usually have two incomes. They come home, they take care of the place. Usually they hold each other accountable, like clean this, do dishes, whatever, laundry, they split chores, all that stuff. So you don't have, some guy just living here or some girl who just, throws things everywhere, doesn't really care, blah, 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 and it becomes a mess, or they just neglect some things, right? It's harder to neglect a property if you've got, a girlfriend or boyfriend or a wife or husband that you also live with, because that means that you need two people that also neglect things, okay? I hate renting to people who have kids. I will say it. And there's proof in this video of why, is because, kids don't know what's going on, right? They're playing, they're having a good time. And they're not doing it maliciously, but they ruin things, they color on walls, they, smash trucks and it puts a dent in the wall, or they scrape something along the floor. Like, these things happen, right? They're kids. But as a landlord, it's not good for me, right? So obviously you'll see that I do accept people with kids, because you can tell by the painting on the vinyl outside. But that's a good reason to show you why accepting kids is not ideal, but sometimes, it can't be avoided. So in my experience here at this property anyways, over the last 5 years, I've had 3 tenants. So the first tenant was actually great. She lived here with her son. She paid on time, never had any issues, and she stayed for 3 years. The next couple that I had was a Ukrainian couple, and they did have kids, but no problems, right? They paid on time, all of that. Just when the 1-year lease was up, they left. And I think they left because they found a place that was closer to their jobs or their place of employment. So I can't fault them for that. The last people I had though, I think those are the people who put the hand markings on the outside. I can't say for sure because I haven't been here in 2 years, but I would think that that would be a complaint from, the prior tenant. They didn't really screw me over, but they signed a 1-year lease, and they left after 9 months. Now, technically I could go after them in court for those extra 3 months, but because they didn't really damage anything and, going to court is a headache, it's going to cost me more money and more time just to try to get, $6,000 or whatever from them. It's just not worth it. So they left after 9 months, and the biggest problem with that is they left at the end of December. So if you think about that, that is the worst possible time to be trying to get prospective tenants into your place. It's Christmas time, it's snowy, it's cold, people have no money, they don't want to go anywhere, they're tired, they're visiting family. It's not a great time. So that's why we're sitting here in February and I'm making this video, because I haven't had a tenant in here for 2 months. And, a lot of that was, some of it was on me too, right? Like I was in the States in January and things like that. So it's just a busy time for everyone. And then, as I said, I did have those applicants. I could have had somebody, in here already, but I declined those applicants because I'm being patient and I'm looking for the right one, the one that's going to be comfortable for me. So anyways, I think that's about all I have to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed the tour and some of my tips and tricks. I have no plans to sell the property, at least not for a few years. Like I said, I've been riding this out for 5 years already, and the deposit was put down at the end of 2019. So I have no plans to sell. I think that the housing market is going to go back up. Not overnight. It is going to take some time, mind you. But over the course of say like another 5 years, I do think that the house prices will start trickling back up, and I'm not in a rush to sell. You know, I'm not really earning any cash flow from this property. As I said, it cost me about $2,000 a month for everything, and I've got it listed at $2,200. So there's really no cash flow. That extra $200, honestly, it gets eaten up, right? Like you've got to repaint the place, or you know, the dishwasher breaks and that's $600 or something like that, right? So I'm not doing it for cash flow. I'm doing it strictly for the mortgage pay down. And the price appreciation, which you should never buy a property, you know, solely based on price appreciation. You should buy properties based on, can it sustain itself? Is it cash flow positive? The appreciation in the property should always just be a bonus and not the real reason. And that is why people get themselves into trouble. That's why you see on House Sigma, you know, houses that are sold 1 year and then they're sold a year later for like a $200,000 loss. Those are people that are trying to just capitalize on price appreciation. And hey, you can do that the same way you can buy any asset and take a gamble. But you know, that's not the smart way to do it. Some people get lucky and some people get very unlucky. So just going to keep the property, keep renting it out, keep paying that mortgage down. If you guys are in the rental game, if you're looking to get into the rental game, I'd be more than happy to do, you know, some more videos like this or more information on rentals in Ontario. This property is not too far from my other one, so I can do more videos on that if you guys are interested. But until next time, thank you for coming along with me on this tour and checking out my other place. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, take care.